You're listening to Bear Friend Tea Party.
Yeah.
A podcast. A very cool and sensual podcast.
No, keep going.
I can't.
Yeah.
I tried. It's too funny.
No, that was good. Come on. I don't want to have to
Okay. Fine.
You're listening to Bear Friend Tea Party, a podcast featuring members of noise pop supergroup The Flowers of Disgust.
Give it up.
My name is Christopher Winter, and I'm joined as always by heartthrob and social dandy Jeremy Mullis from North Carolina.
Hello.
And renegade dinosaur policeman Dr. Jonathan Bumpers.
Man. Hi guys, I get to be a dinosaur.
That is so
pioneering
unfair.
rap mogul D. Gunner Beamish could not join us today because he does not know how to use email or something.
He actually does have a potential legitimate excuse.
Oh, yeah?
I heard there was a death in the family.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, that's...
well, I hope it was him, because otherwise that's not an excuse.
That's harsh.
Wait, if we're in his family, are any of us dead?
Chris, something we gotta talk about.
Have you seen The Sixth Sense?
It's not David Jr., is it?
I'm sorry, Chris, it turns out that this whole time, you were Haley Joel Osment.
I kind of suspected as
Yeah.
much.
That's over my head. Is that an actor?
That's the kid.
I
in
think
the, that's
Haley
the,
Joel Osment
Oh.
was the
the
kid
kid in the
Sixth
movie.
Okay.
Also AI.
Oh, really?
I never heard of him until like a week ago.
I first saw Sixth Sense in Japan. I was at a dude's house. We were at a dude's house, and we were watching Sixth Sense. You know, he had it on DVD or something. And I'd never seen it before, and everybody always said it was really good. And we were like 15 minutes into it, and the guy was like, See, that's how you can tell that he's dead.
Oh, that's
I was like,
awesome.
oh, that guy's dead.
Oh, spoilers, by the way.
Well, I just,
Yeah.
I had a
Since-
similar
I think-
experience.
What if we just ruined it for somebody else?
Screw them.
Yep.
Whatever.
It's been...
It turns out the whole time Haley Joel Osment was in modern day.
It turns out the doctor was Nicolas Cage all along.
And plants
Oh, wait.
created the...
Wait,
bomb
who was
that
the
killed
doctor?
everybody.
No, Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis.
Well, yeah, that would be quite a twist if it was Nicolas Cage. No, when I saw that dumb movie, everyone had talked it up, and everyone was just saying, like, oh, you're not going to believe this twist.
Yeah.
And then I was
That
just like,
doesn't-
oh, he's probably dead, huh?
Yeah, it's no good if people tell
Yeah.
you there's a twist. I was,
Well, that was, and I guess that was before you always knew that some M. Night Shyamalan movie had a big twist at the end. That was where they established that.
yeah, when Christine and I had just started dating, she was living, she had a roommate in her apartment in Japan, and we were watching The Shining, which again, I had never seen before. We were watching The Shining on TV, and her roommate came in the middle of it, somewhat tipsy, and she was like, "Oh, The Shining! Has the black guy died yet?" No, he hasn't actually, but I have a feeling that maybe he will soon.
Well,
Yeah, I feel like that's not as big of a...
yeah,
of a-
that
of a
No, it
giveaway.
wasn't a twist.
it's
Yeah.
it's really just kind of weird.
I guess it's a twist in the sense that you think The
gonna
Shining...
save the day.
You think the movie named after an aspect of the movie, you think that aspect will have something to do with the plot, but it doesn't.
It was weird that they introduced him, like that he came all the way back to save the boy,
Right?
and then he just got killed anyway.
And it's like you have this like supernatural power. Like nothing else in the movie is out and out like supernatural, but that is. And then you think that he's going to use it to save the family, and then the guy just eats it.
I thought, like,
weird.
I think that when I saw that movie, before I had seen that, I had seen the Simpsons parody thereof,
Yeah.
in which what is that lawnkeeper dude named?
Willie.
Groundskeeper Willie.
Groundskeeper Willie is the black guy who gets killed, and I thought that was like a joke. The fact that he comes back to save him and then just gets killed, I thought that was like, isn't that hilarious? And then you see The Shining, and it's like, oh, that's just what happens in that movie. That's weird.
But as I recall, I think the same episode, like the other two stories, also involve Willie dying in really inglorious ways. As well.
Well, that,
Which they probably, I guess they got the idea from that.
I had forgotten that. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Anyway, like tonight on Bear Friend Tea Party, we're gonna have some topics. There's gonna be 3 to 4 of them. I guess maybe just 3. Topic 1 with Daniel Gunnard Beamish is going to have to wait until the next episode, and that topic is going to be that time I performed the song Deo in elementary school. Topics this week have been largely chosen by my wife because she said that the topics that we chose were stupid. Topic 2. Topic 2, we will be discussing mansplaining. I will be moderating that topic. Topic 3, we will have a surprise attack, fun time tea party extreme quiz zone. And topic number 4 is with Jonathan Bumpers is going to tell us about that sweet periodic table his girlfriend and he drew on his bathroom wall. So stay tuned.
Yeah. Yeah.
My cat eats so much food.
I thought you were gonna say that you weren't recording.
No, I like looked on the bag and like where it says how much you're supposed to feed your cat.
Yeah.
I started feeding her that much food, but it's just like she just like eats it. She eats it right away, and then she's like whining and whining and whining for more. She can't get enough food, and I'm worried because like. I end up giving her a little more food, and then, like, now that's kind of a habit, but now I'm worried I'm feeding her too much, and here's the problem. Like, when you look on the bag, how they tell you how much food, the way you determine how much to feed your cat is by how much it weighs. So, like, right now, I'm in the, like, 6 to 8 pound bracket. But if she starts gaining weight and goes into the next bracket, then I'm supposed to feed her more. And then she's really gonna get fat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a real problem.
Is that Perrier you're drinking, Jeremy?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I was drinking Trader Joe's 15-year Lowland single malt scotch, but there wasn't much left. She's like so hungry though. She's like hungry all the time. It's like you just walk from one room to the other. She assumes you're like going to feed her. It's like it's totally the wrong time of day and I'm going into a different room.
Topic 2.
I think you can turn that beat off even.
Oh, okay, alright, okay.
Well, let's not.
Okay.
Time starts now.
Sorry. Yeah, so topic 2, courtesy of my wife, is mansplainin. Is everyone familiar with the concept of mansplaining?
You'd better explain it in case some of
Maybe
our
we
audience are not.
sorry.
Our audience members are not super sophisticated.
Maybe we should get a
They're not.
woman to come in here and explain it.
They're not up on the latest trends.
I guess
hello?
they wouldn't know how.
can hear
I
you.
thought I had stopped recording, but it turns out I just hadn't said anything for a few seconds. So it's like that had never happened before. So yeah,
This is our best episode ever.
that's high praise. So I mean, I think this is a term that it can, I heard this like a pretty recently, but I guess it was kind of going around the internets a couple years ago, and the phenomenon has existed for many years. This word is a portmanteau of man and splainin.
See, now you're going to have to explain what a portmanteau is.
It's I think our listenership is pretty sophisticated.
Google
I'm not
it.
sure they are.
It's so like this is when a man is like explaining something to a woman typically, and they're doing that in a way that's kind of presumes a greater knowledge of this area than the woman has, even sometimes when that is absurdly not true. So like I think some of the textbook examples of this came out of like kind of academia, where like you'll have like the female neuroscientist who's like talking to some dude who like is trying to explain to some layperson, some man trying to explain how the brain works or something. But I think as a man, I think a lot of dudes do this, even probably most of us at times, and don't realize it.
I was under the impression. Are you done? Can I talk?
Please.
Okay.
Yeah, I was talking too much. I cut most of what I say out.
I was like, should I interrupt him or whatever?
No, just let him go.
I was under the impression, and maybe you guys can explain this to me if I'm incorrect, but I was under the impression that traditionally mansplaining involved like the explanation of like specifically of material that women would have a better knowledge of. Like, a man explaining how the menstrual cycle works, for example. Is that not true in your experience?
I
think that would count.
I think that represents some of the funniest examples thereof. The example that I was talking to Sarah about this, and I was like, "Do I do that? I got to do that some of the time." And we were like trying to think of like a good example of me doing that, and then I remembered like a few years ago, someone shared this article with me like on the internet about like it was this article this woman wrote about like properly sizing and fitting bras. And like she was talking about how like a lot of women make mistakes doing that, and they don't quite measure it right. They'll just go and like slap on a few bras until one fits right, and then they're like, okay, that's my size. And
I have heard that as well.
So I read this article, and then I was like, Sarah, I'm not. Have you ever? A lot of women don't properly know how to size a bra, and I was like trying to tell her stuff about like this is you need to take a measurement around here, and then like another one here, because there's like there's like kind of analog sizes,
analog.
There's a a 34B and a 32C are kind of very similar sizes, but slightly that kind of shit.
Did you like explain it like, hey, I read this article that said such and such, or did you just pass it off as your own brilliant observation?
His intimate knowledge.
I don't remember, but probably whichever, probably the worst of the two. I probably just like. I mean, it was interesting to me the part where they talked about the sizes that are kind of like sister sizes, where like they really are, they kind of are sort of the same, but like the ratio is slightly different. And I think they were saying that it's weird.
Not to get off topic, but can you explain about? There's
the
32B is the same.
I forget what they call that. Yeah, so
is it like shoe sizes? Can you say like 34 double E wide or?
So I think
I don't see why it would be like shoe sizes.
I think like basically how it works is
I'm just trying to be inappropriate.
If you have like a 32C, that is analogous to a 30D. A person who wore one of those sizes could pretty easily wear the other one. They're like it'll fit, but it maybe won't be quite the right fit. And the person in this article was saying that like a lot of people, they choose
get stuck on the wrong,
or they were just, like a lot of women, according to this person, and I don't presume to say at this point because I'm trying to be more aware of this, but like the point she was making, like a lot of women, like they decide they want to be a C cup, and then they choose a size that fits in that cup range and end up with one that isn't appropriate. And so I came in and I'm like, well, you probably are making there's a common problem among women that so yeah.
Did you at the time did you call her little lady?
Well, I always call her little lady.
oh honey, let me explain this to you.
Or sweet cakes?
I think she was actually very nice about it, but I think she already knew exactly what I was saying, and it was just
listen, sweet cakes. Don't worry your pretty little head. about those funny numbers on your bras.
I mean, I think I was probably doing exactly what you weren't supposed to do. I was just thinking, like, that means, I can choose whatever cup size I want, and we can figure it, like, just make it that. But I don't know. Anyway, but what about you guys? Enough about me.
I also think that it's a funny phenomenon.
Do you think you do that ever?
I had a
I do. I'm pretty sure I do. Yeah.
Do you think that do you feel that it gendered in your case, or just like that you're just like a know-it-all generally?
I am a know-it-all generally.
Yeah. That's
Also,
true.
we'll take John and then Chris.
Oh, sorry.
It may be somewhere.
Okay.
Maybe a little of both.
John, let me
know.
explain.
I don't.
Let
sorry,
me
yes,
explain
please,
to you
please
about
explain it.
the way you are. I think in your case, it's more that you're a know-it-all generally.
See, I feel
though
like
there is a
I feel
gendered
like I should go
aspect.
ask now. Maybe I should bring a guest on.
Do you guys want to break for a minute and you can go ask?
I'll go
ask,
wake up
if you...
Christine and ask her.
I have a sidebar question.
Yeah.
So, Chris, you wanted us to record all of our significant others, saying the name of the podcast and whatnot.
I thought it would be a kind of a cool introduction.
Yeah.
If there are a lot of sort of you put them all together, and there are a lot of women saying "Bear Friend Tea Party" in kind of a sexy voice.
And then it just sounds like we have like a harem or something.
Yeah, vaguely like that. Yeah.
We could do like a segment where we lie to them, maybe.
I also want to get I want to record Gigi saying that stuff. So we have one intro that's just Gigi saying, "You're listening to Bear Friend Tea Party," a podcast.
You should get on that.
Well, I haven't seen Gigi in
So
about a
did
week.
Did you guys record your wives?
I recorded Christine doing it,
Okay.
and Danny recorded Allie.
I'm working on it. I haven't done it yet.
Yeah. Back to the topic at hand. I had a related issue recently. As I was telling Jeremy, Christine and I are in the process of purchasing a house, and we had the inspection a couple days ago, and so we had an independent home inspector there to look over the house and see what was going on. And Christine and I were both there talking to him, and he directed all of his comments and information and questions to me.
Even though Christine is like a structural engineer or something?
Yes, even though Christine has a degree in building and construction and worked as a professional construction project manager for many years.
Well, yeah.
And even, the whole time, he'd say something to me, like, he'd ask me a question, and I'd be like, he'd say, "So, what kind of wiring do you..." And I'd be like, "Christine, what kind of wiring do we and she'd tell me, and then I'd have to tell him.
I'm sorry. Is the question in this case, what kind of wiring do you want?
I don't even remember what the questions were. I don't. It'd be something about the furnace.
Preferably some very old, uninsulated wire.
Okay, he didn't actually say what kind of wiring do you want. It was, it was stuff that I don't even know what he was talking about.
Topic 3.
And that music means the time has come for the Surprise Attack Fun Time Tea Party Extreme Quiz Zone. And tonight's randomly selected challenger is Dr. Jonathan Bumpers.
It wasn't even
Jeremy,
much of a drum roll that time.
This game will require you to advise John.
Oh,
as well.
okay.
So you're in it too.
Right. But I just don't get a prize.
Yeah, there's no prize for you. Tonight's game is called I don't know, and I think you'll. Well, look.
Wait, is that the name of the game? Or
yes, that's the name of the game.
Okay.
I like that name. Okay. I like you didn't try to be too clever with that.
I think we can all agree that the podcast quiz show format is excessively stale.
Oh, yeah. It's one of our worst segments.
Some
I don't
know-it-all imperious quizmaster
Probably in the bottom 5. But
telling people they're wrong. So this segment, I'm going to ask you a series of questions to which I do not know the answer.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And your job is to answer them. You get 1 point for... It doesn't matter if you're correct or not, because I don't know. You get 1 point for seeming like you're correct, and 1 point off if I think you're wrong. But again, I have no idea. There's just no way for me to judge.
Just have to seem
that sounds like a very
confident.
Difficult.
Okay. Question 1. What does a carburetor do?
It's the thing that makes the fuel go into the engine. It's like it
aerates it, I believe.
Yeah, it's like an intake thing.
I believe that a carburetor
sucks in gas and air, and then it turns it into like forward motion.
I think that now that you have fuel injection, cars don't have carburetors anymore, but I believe that is what it did.
Yeah, but you still have people making analogies as though they were a thing. Like, I don't know, it seems like anytime you're on some kind of like sci-fi show where people are like, oh, how do we fix this sci-fi engine? Somebody comes up with a thing that is like, oh, we'll just do this. It's just like a carburetor.
Oh. All right. I'm going to give you the point. You sound like you know what you're talking about.
I think he was actually right too. He listens to a lot of car talk.
I have no way of knowing.
I subscribe to the Car Talk podcast, but I usually don't listen to it.
That's not what I heard. I was going to make the claim that you had actually listened to every single episode of Car Talk since its inception.
It's like
live.
a 2-hour show. Who's got that kind of time?
Well, I think for the first 10 years or so, it was only 1 hour. Sorry, I'll be quiet.
Well, and you also got to factor in that I listen to all my podcasts on 1.5 speed.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, that's gonna...
If you at home who are doing the math...
I do all my podcasting at 1.5 speed.
Take that into account.
I'm actually already done and asleep now.
All right. Question 2. Is Charles Grodin dead, or is he still alive?
He's definitely dead.
Ooh, no help from me on this one. I don't even know who that is.
Charles Grodin?
Yeah.
He was a film actor. He was an
actor of some renown.
Yeah.
Can I ask a procedural question?
I think he was in one of the Muppets movies.
Wasn't he in Problem Child?
He played an accountant in that one movie. I can't remember what it's called, and I couldn't look it up because the conceit of the quiz segment had to be that I don't know the answers to these questions, so I couldn't research him.
We know him from like a lot of comedic roles that he did in the 80s.
I think he was pretty funny, yeah.
Was sort of underutilized.
You guys have done nothing to elucidate who this man is.
And
I told you, he was the dad
He was
in
like,
Problem
all
Child.
I have is he was maybe in Problem Child.
I'm not, you know what, I'm not going to give you the point. You haven't convinced me.
Oh, come on.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you're back to zero.
I actually don't know if he's alive.
Question 3.
Wait, can I ask a procedural question?
What's your question?
Is that the question?
I was like, should I chime in or should I wait until John requests a lifeline?
You want to advise him.
Okay.
Question 3. How many birds
Does that mean
are there?
just talk over? Sorry, ask the question again.
Question 3. How many birds are there?
Well, you got Charlie Parker. You got
in the world.
Charlie
Parker is dead, so you don't have to include him.
Okay.
How many currently existing birds are
Aren't there other jazz musicians that are also called Bird?
I have some advice on this question, John. John, what you're gonna want to do to arrive at an answer that seems plausible is to do one of those estimations where you kind of okay, I saw
one of those powers of 10 thing.
Yeah, there's roughly 7 billion people in the world. I saw 3 birds today, so maybe there's I don't know, 1 million. No, I mean 28 billion. 28 billion.
That was right. 20. Well, 21 by the math that you were doing, right?
Shit. God damn it. Even so, my joke
I don't
math
know.
and my real math were both wrong. But yes, 21.
So your guess is there are 21 birds?
21 billion.
Oh, 21
I'm gonna
billion.
go-
No, but that's
I
whoa.
think
This was
there's
just my
probably more than
advice.
that.
This was just my advice
Yeah.
in terms of how he might do the calculation.
Yeah,
I'm not
no,
saying that I saw 3 birds today because I wasn't counting.
I feel like
I
but
saw
there's probably
0
a lot of
birds
that people never see, you know?
Yeah, that's
Like under the
Birds
ground
that
and
are,
stuff.
you know, in hiding.
Are you counting?
deep undersea birds?
Are you counting dead birds?
No, living birds.
Well,
Currently
you
existing
didn't specify,
birds.
Christopher.
I did.
Did you?
I did. You guys were talking at the time.
Well, that's why we didn't hear you.
Yes.
I was advising,
You
actually.
shouldn't have said it while we were talking.
All right, you're on your own now, John.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I'm
need
gonna
an answer.
say, I'm gonna say 1 trillion.
You know what? I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna
Oh,
give
that's
it to you.
way too high.
I'm gonna give it
That
to
is
you.
me wrong.
Yeah,
that is
prove him wrong.
way
Prove him
too
wrong.
high.
I'm gonna give it to
Trillion?
you. So you've got.
That
you've got
means,
one.
like, you think that-
Question 4.
Does it include pictures of birds
We're moving on. We're moving on.
and cartoon birds?
We're moving on. Question 4. That Game of Thrones TV series, is it any good? Should I get into it? And bonus question, what channel is that on anyway?
Well, that would be an HBO show, which stands for Home Box Office.
It makes you seem
Stalling.
knowledgeable. I'm gonna
Yes.
accept that answer to the bonus question.
You know, it seems like maybe
I have
might be worthwhile. I
John-
don't know, I've never seen it.
Oh, I watch it. It's pretty good.
Is it? It
Yeah.
does have that dwarf that I like.
Oh, Peter Dinklage. He's
Yeah,
he's
Peter-
really good in it.
Dinklage, is that his name? Dinklage?
Peter Dinklage.
Yeah, he was on 30 Rock.
It's got a lot of British people in it. I think it's good. There's a lot of like killing and sex and stuff.
Oh.
Have you guys seen the Borgias?
I thought
heard
the
that was
Borgia,
good, but-
the Borgias is okay.
It's like the same show, only with Jeremy Irons, and it's on Netflix.
Jeremy Irons is good.
Um,
Okay,
I
John,
watched the pilot; it was okay.
I'm going to give you a point for the bonus question. I would have counted off for the regular question because you seemed very uncertain about yourself. But Jeremy really saved your bacon there. He had
wow.
a clear
Well,
opinion.
so we got-
So you've got
we
2
got-
points
I
for that one.
I
You've got
have
both-
seen that show.
You've got both points for that one. I think
Dude, I'm
we're
gonna win.
almost out of time, so this is probably our final question. Number 5. What is the best cheese?
Oh man, that is tough.
See, that's not really a question you don't.
I don't know the
No,
answer
the-
because I'm
Yeah, you probably
conflicted.
you
I
know the
don't
answer. I'm
have
gonna
a.
say,
More like purely subjective.
You know, I have
I'm gonna
that
say
one
San
down,
Andreas.
and I have what's the capital of Lithuania. Do you want to do what's the capital of Lithuania?
No, I gave you an answer.
Oh, what'd you say?
San Andre.
That is a good cheese.
It's a real creamery.
Yeah, tell me about it. Talk it
Buttery
up.
cheese.
Yeah.
It spreads real well.
But it's got that nice, like, it's not just buttery, because around, like, nearer the rind, it's got a little bit of crumble to it. Not to talk, but I'm just trying to make your
And
case.
it's
No,
got
you're
like
helping.
kind
That's
of
helpful.
like hints of kind of a nutty kind of flavor almost.
What
but,
does it blend
you know,
well with? Like, what does it go with? If you were going to match it with a fruit or a...
Pretty much anything. I would think it would go really well with apples, for instance.
Yeah, that's always a nice combination.
I could see pairing it with bananas.
Bananas?
Yeah, bananas are a fruit.
Bananas. I'm going to make a cheese tray with bananas and sage on.
You know, I was about to give you that point, but that bananas thing, I'm taking that off. All right, so you've got...
What? But you don't know. You've never.
No, I don't know. That's the point of the game is that I have
Apples and
no-
bananas?
I did not.
You had
understand
it.
the point
You
of the
had
game.
it until the food pairings. You lost it when you
Yeah,
said you
lost
wanted to
it
pair
when
it
you-
with
when you paired-
apples and
said you could pair it
bananas.
with bananas. That
I
just
got greedy, is what I did.
I couldn't.
I mean,
buy
you
that.
should have just gone. You already. You
You
had
had me
already
with
won it.
apples.
You could have. If he
You
had
not
just
like
said,
bananas?
if you had just said, it goes great with grapes, some nice fresh grapes,
Yeah.
that would have been a safe answer.
Oh, that sounds
Some
good.
nice fresh
You
bananas.
wouldn't have gotten any
So, John, let's
fresh
see, you got
bananas here.
4 correct answers, and 3 correct answers plus 1 bonus. 2 incorrect answers. I'm not accepting your Charles Grodin response or your best cheese response, but that leaves you with a score of 2 points. So I think that's very good. That's a positive. You're in positive territory.
That's very
Congratulations.
respectable.
Yeah, Jeremy, tell him what he's won.
I'm sorry, I didn't know we were doing a quiz, so I didn't find anything.
Okay, you haven't won anything.
Honestly, I don't think he did that good a job. I really saved his bacon on a couple of those.
You did.
I mean, if it wasn't
the Game of Thrones, you really saved. I didn't have time.
Peter Dinklage.
I didn't have time to
I'm
ask.
just trying to remember his name.
I didn't have. You're lucky because the next question
you-
was
hey,
what's the
hey.
capital of Lithuania, and then after that, how many Police Academy movies did they make for theatrical release? And I think those both
6.
would have been quite difficult.
No, it's definitely 6.
It would be easy to get a plausible answer on that.
Yeah,
It's like
he did
high
sound
single
very
digits.
just then.
I
Did you
don't
look
know
up?
about Lithuania.
You don't need to put this in the podcast. What I'm about to say.
Uh-huh.
I've heard people talk about it on other podcasts, actually, but
Yeah. Wow.
That's awesome.
That really seems great.
Tell you a story about Minnie the Moocher. She was a cheeky coocher. She was the roughest, toughest frail, but she had a heart that was big as a whale. Hidey, 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 ho. Ole, 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 ole. Well,
Should we do topic 4?
Yeah.
Topic 4.
Topic 4.
Topic 4. Who is that?
That's John.
Is that me?
Okay, that's you, John.
Topic 4 is, well, John.
That sweet periodic table my girlfriend and I drew on my bathroom wall.
So, have you guys seen my bathroom?
I have.
No.
Well, you've seen the picture of it, right?
Yeah, the photo you sent, yeah.
Okay, so I pose this question to all of you. All of you. Is that shit sweet or what?
It's pretty
That
sweet.
is really great.
It's
Right?
pretty sweet.
Are
Let
you
me look
making
at
that,
the-
or is Jeremy making that?
Making
We're talking.
what?
That noise, that
That's Jeremy.
That's. I just left that loop on.
Oh, yeah.
See, when I do it, it sounds like this. Yeah.
When I do it, I guess it sounds exactly like
Pretty
that.
similar, actually.
Yeah, that periodic table is pretty sweet.
It's educational too.
John, why
learn,
don't you?
You learn while you bathe.
What did you? So what? Since you have not described it at all, to anyone not looking at this, for those of our listeners who are not looking at this picture right now,
It's possible some people might be in John's bathroom as they look.
it's true.
We'll
For those of you,
include a picture. We'll include it like a link to the picture in the show notes, right?
Oh, yeah.
totally.
Or you know,
yeah.
if this is an enhanced podcast, we can probably just have a picture of it. Are we an enhanced podcast?
I think you're peeking out there a little, John. You're getting
sorry.
a little excited.
I just, whenever I talk about enhanced podcasts, I get a little.
Oh no, I understand.
Little
I remember
hot
when
under the collar.
when those first came out. But so
Jeremy, can you turn those yeahs down like a notch?
like a notch or entirely?
Just a notch.
Okay, wait. Like, is that? Hold on, here it comes.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me if this is.
That's fine.
Is that too? That seems like a little too quiet. But all
Yeah,
right,
I could barely hear that.
I'll just kick it up one notch. But so, John, why don't?
So
like,
in our house, my girlfriend and I, we have a hideous pink bathroom.
Sounds
Right?
nice.
It's-
And it's tiled like bathrooms are, and the wall of the bathtub is this horrible shade of pink, and it just makes for a very I don't know, just a very lame shower experience because you're surrounded by all this ugly, and it's just a very ugly shade of pink. So we decided that we had all these squares on the wall, right? And we were like, actually, it was my girlfriend's idea.
she's into like science and stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Oh, is she into science?
it's what there is, right?
Yeah.
Science is what there is. So yeah, she came up with the idea, and so we went out and got some Sharpies, and we drew a periodic table on the bathtub wall.
It's pretty sweet.
It took us several months.
Why?
kinda hard.
Why?
Several months
How
of
did it take you
constant
several
labor.
months?
No. Like we would do like 2 or 3 elements a night.
Why
Yeah,
did
because
you
they're
work so
they're
slowly?
fairly large tiles.
It's very difficult to write on bathroom tile with a Sharpie.
Really?
It turns out, yeah, like you have to go over it and over it sometimes. Like some of the tiles don't take it very well.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I keep saying really because I'm hoping that the will come right after. Really? See, like
You
that.
kinda
huh?
jump
Well,
the gun a
'cause-
little bit.
Like my question, because Sarah and I, when we stayed with you, were very impressed by and I don't think it was complete then. I think it was mostly complete. I don't think you had all those silly ones at the bottom yet.
The lanthanides and actinoids,
Yeah,
or whatever they're called.
you know, the silly ones.
The
but
yo-noids.
the yo-noids.
How many people remember the noid, huh?
That dude was weird.
Yeah.
like what was
Yeah.
up with that? I lost my train of thought.
We were
Oh
talking
yeah.
about my
Well, like, so
bathroom.
did you like when you did you like count the columns first, and you were like, this is the appropriate number of columns that we might, like, how did, or was it just more like
she came up with the basic, like, with the idea, and I got really like anal retentive about it, and like I made it so we started in a particular place so it would come out exactly right.
You were like, so here's how we're going to do your idea.
Exactly. I basically, in a word, I mansplained it.
Yeah.
So you see the periodic table, you can't just put the elements in any order. There's a very particular order they have to go in.
Pretty much.
But it looks really rad.
It does seem like it looks cool.
I do worry about your security deposit, but...
Yeah, that was my question.
It's gone. We already erased it.
You did?
Yeah.
How did you erase it?
A lot faster than we drew it, actually.
Oh, the periodic table is... I thought you meant your security deposit was gone.
No, those elements.
Oh, we erased it, yeah.
Well, that's disappointing. So this is actually kind of a sad segment.
It is.
Why did you erase them?
So we could get our security deposit back.
Oh, are you leaving soon?
We're leaving in a month. We had like the landlord come a couple weeks ago to do like a walkthrough, or not the landlord, like a broker or something. I don't know. I guess he's selling it.
Where are you going? Are you going back to Portland?
Yeah, we're going back to Portland, Oregon. Yeah.
Wait, so do you have? You're all done with the school and everything. That's really distracting.
It is.
Yeah,
but not in a bad way.
What was the question?
I don't remember. So,
did you finish your class?
Did we finish
degree?
the periodic table?
What order did you do the elements in? Did you do them? Because I would think you ought to have done them in order.
We started in order. We definitely did the first.
Like, did you do hydrogen and then jump all the way over to helium, just hoping to God that you counted right?
Well, he
would have measured it out.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
but it's all the way on the other side of the.
Yeah, well, it's part of the same period.
He would have counted them out. He wouldn't have just guessed.
I think we did the first 2 rows, and then after that we kind of jumped around. But we did plan out exactly where, well, more or less exactly where everything would go. I mean, it turns out that there are like hundreds of different versions of the periodic table.
What?
That different people have made. Yeah, if you go to like a shitload of periodictables.com or whatever. I don't remember the website URL, but it's something like that.
Do they have a blog like that weird maps blog that you turned me on to?
It is kind of like that. There's like hundreds of them, and they're all like different configurations that illustrate different principles. But like some of them are 3-dimensional, and they have like weird loops that come out, and
that sounds kind of cool.
Like you tie it in a bow or something.
It actually seems.
Why didn't you do that on your tiles?
Well, maybe in the next house.
One of the 3-dimensional ones.
I mean, I like the classic.
It is, it is sort of 3-dimensional in that, it's on 2 different walls.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so it does have that 90-degree bend in the middle, which we didn't mention. I feel it gives it kind of a nice 3-dimensional kind of.
I think I think that really makes it. That's one of the coolest things about it is that it goes around that corner.
Mm-hmm.
I think this may be the greatest thing that you have done in life.
It's possible.
It's too bad you had to erase it.
Should really check
thing
out
I've done in terms of home decor.
You should have just removed all of those tiles and reassembled it back in Portland.
Oh, that's a really good idea.
Security deposit be damned.
Yeah. The sad thing was, it took us months to put it together, but to erase the letters took, it took maybe 3 hours.
Maybe Sharpies weren't the right marking utensil to use. I mean, I guess they were because you were able to get it off, but
it came off really easy. Actually, we used some cleaning device called a magic sponge, I think.
Oh yeah,
that sounds really, really.
It's
and that just took
one of those
off.
Scrubby things, kind of like a Brillo
we used
pad.
Toothpaste also. I cannot hear you guys.
Hello.
I was
Hello.
wondering how much silence we could have after I said Brillo pad. Like, it's just a
Did you guys hear?
stunned silence.
Yeah, I know. I wondered if we had shorted out there or something.
Yeah,
I
you
thought
were
everyone
frozen
was.
for a minute.
I thought everyone was just very upset that I had mentioned Brillo pads.
It was
No, we
kind of a
used
faux pas.
we used a magic sponge. I think it
There you
was a
go.
magic sponge and toothpaste. As it turns out.
Really,
Really,
Yeah.
toothpaste worked.
toothpaste. That I've
Yeah, that
gotten
makes sense.
a lot of deposits back with toothpaste. You can fill holes with it. You can clean tiles with it.
Yeah, it's
That's it.
fabulous
That's
stuff. Baking soda.
You can clean your teeth with it.
You can also lose deposits with toothpaste used in other ways, so it's versatile.
It's really a
Many ways you can
double-edged
fuck
sword.
things up with
toothpaste.
toothpaste.
And this was, I believe it was iodized. Fluoride. What do they do to toothpaste now?
They put
Since they
fluoride
They
in it.
aerate it.
And by now I mean like since the 50s.
Whitening. Oh,
Yeah, fluoride. They put fluoride in it.
Yeah, you mean ever since
They
the days
use
of
glitter
of,
crystals.
God damn it! What was that? I was trying to remember that like old toothpaste brand before they had fluoride.
Glisten?
Gleam, maybe.
Is there
with
one,
two
isn't there one
E's.
called Glisten?
I think there might be. There might be. There was one time, like I think when Sarah and I first moved in here, and we didn't have like any of our like TV stuff hooked up. We didn't have an antenna or anything. All we could figure out how to watch was like old videos off of archive.org. So we watched like about an hour of old toothpaste commercials.
That's a
And
good
apparently,
website.
the interesting thing is it seems like there was like a big showdown between Gleam,
Right.
which was like the established brand. It was between Gleam and Crest. Crest being like the upstart.
Oh.
I thought Crest and Colgate were of the same vintage.
I think Colgate. Oh gosh, I'm not sure. It was no, I don't think so. I think Colgate came in later, at least based on this series of ads. But the hilarious thing in these ads is they'll like have like, it'll be like, the premise for the ad is like, oh, you've just gotten back from the dentist. How did it go? And it's like, I only had 2 cavities because I use Gleam. And it's like, back then, like, that was like, it was just unrealistic that you would have fewer than that. It was like, should we say no cavities? Like, no.
No one will
No
buy
one's
that.
going to believe that.
That old clock just a ticking time away. Ain't no more, baby, ain't no more.
Thanks for listening to Barefoot Tea Party. I'll be appearing at the Roeland Park Price Chopper Saturday or Sunday of this week. So if you're in the area, look out for me.
Chris, when you say you're appearing there, does that mean that you're going grocery shopping?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just checking.
I mean, you know, we're running low. We're gonna have to go Saturday or Sunday probably.
I have
This
2 other
Price Chopper.
podcasts that I'd like to plug.
wow.
One of those podcasts is High on the Cow, Eating Well in Kansas City, a podcast about food and restaurants in Kansas City that I do with my wife, Sarah, who has brought us these lovely topics tonight. And my other podcast is with Jonathan Bumpers. We just conceptualized it, and that is a yet unnamed podcast about the obscure 8-bit Nintendo game Dudes with Attitude.
I'm not really convinced on this one.
You're not convinced, Chris?
I'm not prepared to, spend my hard-earned podcast time on this production of yours
No.
until I find out that it has a clever name.
Oh, you mean you're not going to include this promo, or you're not going to listen to
I'm
it,
not
or
going
you're
to
not
listen
going to produce
to
it for
unless
us?
it has a funny name.
Because we were also planning for you to edit and produce it.
that I'll do. That's fine.
Yeah, okay, we'll have to think of a funny name.
And
What about
not,
All right.
not just like
attitude adjustment?
yeah, that's pretty good.
If you want to email us, and you should, you could be the The first person to email this podcast will get $20. I'm throwing it out there. Email us. Tell us something you heard in this episode. And if you are not related to us and don't live with me, you will get $20. Send us your address. Prove that you listened to an episode, part of it at least. 20 big ones. That email address is bearfriendteaparty@aol.com.
You can, if you enjoy Bear Friend Tea Party, you can hear all our podcasts by doing whatever it is you did to get this one.
But that's why I'm saying to leave us a review on iTunes or on the Zune Marketplace. I think we're on that.
Are we?
Yeah.
Leave us a review of 2 stars or higher, please.
A detailed review. Leave us a detailed.
Highly detailed and scathing.
They said they'd give me $20. No, that is 100% true. First person who emails, number 1, $20. Number 2, you can be a regular on the podcast if you want.
We can replace Danny.
Yeah, honestly, if they'd show up on time, I think this one went pretty well without him. All right,
I think we're done here.
Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah.